the line types that we have in the system is the default system. It's an American system that may not apply to Australian standards. So on your handout, it describes the type of lines that we normally use and the thickness of lines that we have. So we're on the second page of your handout. So to change that, we need to go to tools up the top. We're going to go to options down the bottom. So what we're going to look for is this particular image on your handout. So try to get, so look on the left hand side, we'll be using under annotation. So click on that little checkbox with the cross, make that open up. We're going to go down to line type. So the two things that we need to change is hidden lines and center lines. So first we're going to change hidden lines. So just click on the word hidden and it should highlight in blue. So the system set up for hidden lines is 2, 2. So how this works is the 2 underline is actually the size of the line, and the 2 that's not underlined is actually the space between the 2 lines. So what we have in Australian standard on your handout is the line is 2 mil thick, 2 mil long, and the gap is 1 mil gap. So we need to just change the second number to 1, and then that's it. Then we're going to click on center to change that afterwards. Just going back to show you guys 2 underscored, then the next number is 1. Okay. Afterwards we click on center. We're just going to delete that. It's easy deleting it. So what does the description on your handout say? So it's the one inside the boxes.
2 line,
For center lines.
3 line, 1 gap, 2 line, 1 gap.
Yep. So 3121 is sort of the magic number. So if you just type in 3, 1, 2, 1, you'll see that automatically the lines get underlined for you, and it just makes that job much easier doing it that way. And once you've done that, you can press OK, and it will have automatically set up your hidden lines and your center lines. So if you guys have assigned those hidden lines and center lines in here, anything that's drawn in those would have those line properties. Okay, so the next part of this is working and creating a title block for your drawings. So far we've been working in top, so we can minus that. Okay, so we've been working on the top perspective, front and right viewports. So these what we call model space. Everything we create in here is purely for your model. So when we're doing technical drawings, we're going to be using a thing called paper space, where all your dimensioning, all your notations are going to be sitting on. There's a little tricky bit in there where we have a little window that looks into your model space, and that window can be zoomed in and out. So that would be the thing that does your scaling for you. So I'll explain that to you sort of now. So on your handout, it shows you that there's a little image here. So that image sort of tries to describe what model space is. So this is where model space is, where we draw our objects. And in the viewport, we have something that allows us to zoom in and out. So if your object you draw, so everything that we draw in model space is going to be 1:1. It could be a ring, it could be a building. Everything's going to be drawn one as to one. For example, if your ring size is 12.5 mils, you draw 12.5 mils. You don't divide by 2 or divide by 5. You don't do that. You leave the dividing for the viewport. The viewport can zoom in specifically twice as small or twice as big, or 5 times, or so forth. So leave the scaling to the computer do. So to create the viewport, we're going to go to, so on your handout here on the right hand side, you have under view, and page layout. Where is this? Or just layout. Okay, so version 5 have just called it layout. You can go new layout. The other way you can do it down here is just clicking on the left hand tab. On the bottom you have a left hand tab which is model, and here is new layout. So for me, it's right in front of me, so I don't have to go through the menu system. I just click on this new layout. It comes up with this particular prompt screen. So for jewelers, the majority will be A3. If you're doing houses, anything bigger, A2, A1, A0, that's fine. But we're going to create 2 title blocks. The principle stays the same if it's going to be A2 or A0, doesn't really matter. So we're going to call this A3 landscape. So just call it A3-L. So L stands for landscape, and we're going to do one portrait. Depending on the design, sometimes a portrait one fits better. So that's your printer. Just leave it as a PDF because it's most of our drawings will be exported as a PDF. File size A3, landscape, and that's your size of an A3 page. Down here it says initial detail count. What that means is how many viewports you need on a page. So the viewport is the thing that looks into your model space. Just start with 1. I'll show you how to create a new one or add a new one to it afterwards. So once you have all that created, press OK. So that's your page. The darker rectangle, sorry, the lighter rectangle is your A3 page. This particular box is your viewport looking into your model space. So if you go to properties, it will tell you this is your detail view, also known as your viewport. Okay. So don't delete that, you'll need that. If you click on the property, you can see that under properties you have object, you have materials, you also have detail view. So this is telling me that currently is the scale is 1 in the model space, on the layout space is 0.144 in the model space. So if you want something that is 1:1, you just type 1, and everything that's in the model space will be zoomed in at 1:1. Okay. Let's drag that off the page because we don't need that right now. It's just easy, just grab and drag. So don't delete it. If you delete it, it's fine. I'll show you how to put it back on afterwards. Okay, so let's activate your title block layer because we're going to be drawing your title block. Does that make sense? So if you want to check, make sure your layers is activated. Just click on this particular column next to the left-hand side of the light globe. We're going to click on the little check icon on the column. We'll activate that. If that's too sort of fiddly, I would suggest clicking on this, clicking on the layer there. Okay, on your next page, you have a description of what So what we have is a title block. So each title block has information, for example, such as the name of your company, the logos, your drawing titles, your drawing descriptions, your file names, information of who drew the object, also known as who's responsible for the drawing. Someone that checked your drawings, so hopefully there's a senior designer, if not, making sure you check your own drawings. The scale of the drawing, the sheet size. So for example, this one is A3, so you write A3 at the bottom. And then the drawing number and the total drawing numbers. So if you have a complex drawing, it may go beyond one page, maybe 1, 2, 3 pages. On the top right of your page, you have a description of the page size. So in A4 is a 297 by 210. And with the border, so just looking at maybe instead of A4, look at A3, your 420 by 297. When we talk about the short edge, we're talking about the edge, which is the shortest, and the long edge, which is the longest. In this situation, we're going to create a border on the short edge 10 mil in, and then the long edge coming down 7 mils. So how we're going to do that, I'm going to show you. So if you watch for now, so I'm going to turn my old snap on and turn on the endpoints. I'm going to create little rectangles. So if I turn my old snap on, it allows me to snap to the corner of the page. So remember, when Rhino's asking you what the length is, it's always X first and Y second. So I'm going to type in 10 coming from the left side and 7 mil coming up. Okay, so that's my first rectangle. So just double checking that. If I show you the dimension, that's 10 mil, that's 7 mil. So 10 mil from the left edge as identified on your handout, and 7 mil coming in from the long edge. So that's your first one. I'm just going to copy that and then copy it to the right, top right corner. Once you've done that, you create the third rectangle connecting the two. So I've got a border 10 mil from the left edge, 10 mil from the right edge, 7 mil from the top, and 7 mil from the bottom. Once you've done that, you can select those little ones and delete them.